The Trusty red card, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's an incident between him and McGrath off the ball.
Him and McGrath off the ball. Now, again, people might disagree with us, but it's never a red card in a million years. Never a red card. So the two guys are at a corner, and McGrath has hold of Trusty's shirt, and Trusty bats his arm away, onto his forearm, and McGrath hits the deck. And at first, it looks like the referee is going to come over and have a word with him, but then VAR gets involved, and he goes over, looks at it, and deems it foul play, serious foul play, and sends him off. It's like you see that every corner.
So what you're saying to me is, Dan, there's every chance that could be overturned and rescinded before the game at Ibrox next weekend?
Well, look, I didn't think it was a red. They very rarely overturn them, though. They might back the ref, but I thought it was extremely harsh. I know it was silly by Trusty to do that, but you see it every game. So, I don't know. I thought that was really harsh, and it probably did cost Celtic. I think with 11 men, they probably get a draw. But there you go. That's life, I guess.
And in terms of the overall performance, you're saying just lacking in quality. And it's the areas, Dan, that we everybody had identified. They needed to bolster the attacking options, to get a bit more cutting edge, whether it's down the flanks or through the middle. And all that really happened with a sort of late rush at the 11th hour on deadline day was just bringing in a bunch of guys that, the evidence so far suggests simply just not up for the task. They're not upgrades. They're not going to make Celtic better. And ultimately, if that cost them the title, then it's on themselves. It's on the board. And I could even understand it if they were Brassic. Do you know what I mean? If they didn't have a button, they've got so much money sitting there. I think that's what heightens the frustration for the Celtic supporters. They could understand it. Nobody don't want your club to overstretch or overspend. But the bottom line is Celtic are just sitting there with that money there. They should have been more ambitious. They should have been more determined to give Martin O'Neill some proper tools for this running, because it was always going to start to get like this, frantic, edgy, nervous. Potentially now one defeat at Ibrox away from just shutting the door on the whole thing.
No, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure every Celtic fan would agree with me that they'd be much better off with 20 million in the bank and 6 points clear at the top of the league, rather than 70 million in the bank. And look, pretty awful. I'm going to be honest, pretty awful. Look, some of the comments that are coming in on the red card, trusted red card. Mark says it happens every game in the league, and that's no exaggeration. D7 though says, of course it was a red. Absolutely stupid. Trusty's a liability. Encourage Solution says Trusty clear red for over violent push on McGrath's arm. Stupidity to lose it like that. And a few people point out that Martin O'Neill did say in his post-match comments that the referee come over. Matthew McDermott was the referee. He come over and said that wasn't me. That was VAR. So I mean, I don't know how.
Oh man, really?
Aye, apparently
they're all throwing each other under a bus
now. So, I mean, just to finish it, AGSC text says Celtic don't have any goal-scoring strikers. Chavanchara and Adamu never shoot; they just run about aimlessly. That and this one as well, actually from Rebel, just playing Nygren as a striker. At least he scores. Other alleged strikers are terrible. That's what I came away from watching the game. Keith Chavanchara runs about. You can see he's got a bit of quality in the ball. He doesn't look like a striker. He's never in the box. He's never on the end of things. And Nygren, I thought, and again, people might disagree, in the first half, he was woeful. Some of his passes were all over the shop. But he scores 18 goals this season now. So I don't know how you take him out of the team.
He's a real conundrum, isn't he?
Aye.
Because he genuinely can go 90 minutes without affecting the play in any way, shape or form in the middle of the pitch. And yet, whenever Celtic need a goal, he pops up from nowhere and bags. What was that, 18 for the season now?
18 for the season now, eh?
It's astonishing. And, if you take these goals away from Celtic season, where are they? So Nygren's contribution has been enormous, even though it's paltry on a week-to-week basis. It's very difficult. I can't remember a player quite like him in that respect. You know, that he's really influencing results with his goals, but he's having very little input into the actual performances.
Well, on that note, I think we can be joined from Celtic Park by the legend that is the one and only Craig Swan. Swanee, how's it going?
All right, boys, how are you?
Very good, thanks. We were just talking over Auston Trusty's red card there and Celtic's general lack of ability, goal scoring opportunities in the pitch. Yeah. Did you see it as a red card, Swanee?
I mean, it's a tricky one, isn't it? My first reaction when I saw it was no. That it's soft, let's just say. But he's lashed out, and you can't do that these days. Can't do that. And that's something that Martin O'Neill said himself after the game. I've just not long finished speaking to him, and he basically said that's something you can't do. If that's the rules these days, you can't do it. But I thought it was soft. I thought it was really soft.
Me too.
I have to say.
In terms of where he makes contact with McGrath, is it just on the arm, Swanee?
Forearm? Nice forearm.
Yeah, on the arm. I mean, listen, I've not seen any replays, Keith, so I'm at the game with one look. He seems to catch him on the arm. David Gray, the Hibs manager, said that, Jamie McGrath had some shoulder problems. His shoulders almost came out with the force that it happened with, so don't know whether that's realistic or not, but that's what the Hibs manager said. So, but it certainly wasn't in the face or anything like that. Not that I could see anyway.
No, you're right, Swan, it wasn't. It
was one of them that, we're at the game, you're watching the corner, you see a bit of someone goes down, you're not really sure what's going on. It's only afterwards we're starting to sort of piece it together slowly. I don't know if you guys have seen images, we haven't. So,
aye. Well, look, I think you've actually called it spot on, Swanee, watching it on TV. He hits him in the forearm, McGrath goes down, and Trusty's really stupid to be doing that. Yeah. It's so soft. It's so soft. You see that in almost every game. Yeah. But there you go. Yeah. We were talking about Celtic generally, their performance. How did you see it, Swanee?
I thought it was a weird Celtic performance. I actually thought that in spells of the game today they probably played better than they have done in some of the matches in recent weeks, but that was a low bar that they were having to beat. They're a bit more possession of the ball. We talked in recent weeks about Celtic having control of games. They certainly didn't have control of the game, but they were able to, have some periods where they had, domination. They were able to make some passes. But there's very little cutting edge in the Celtic team, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, I don't think Rafael Salinger, the Hibs goalkeeper, had a save to make before Benjamin Nygren scored before half-time. I think he was massively overworked after the break. There was one or two shots came in that got deflected wide and such like. But Celtic just aren't carving out chances. It's just not happening for them at the moment. They were, as I say, they were better than they have been against the likes of, say, Kilmarnock and Livingston in the second half against them. But as I say, it's not a high bar. It wasn't great. It wasn't wonderful, no.
That's the thing, though, Swanee, isn't it? That's what we've all been bumping our gums since the January window. It was obvious what Celtic needed to do in that window. It was obvious the areas of the team that needed to be improved. It was obvious that they needed better quality in wide areas up front and through the middle. They've just neglected to do their business.
Listen, the world's crying out for attacking players, Keith. We all know that. We all know that. But had Celtic been able to get the right pieces of quality in the top end of the pitch, it covers up so many other deficiencies. If you're how many games at Celtic Park have we seen here? They're 3-4-1 up with 20 minutes to go when that red card comes. If they've got the business, they can be. Sometimes your performances can be masked by having just proper front men that can just make things happen in a flash, and it's just Celtic don't have it. They just don't have it. They're still starting games with Yang. Yeah. I mean, Sebastian Tenetsky's a young lad, relatively speaking. Actually, that's not fair. Not young, fresh into the country, I should say, and he's still not got to grips with the fact you need to be 8 out of 10 every week at Celtic. Sometimes he's sensational, as he was in the second half at Rugby Park, but then at the start of the game today, just not enough.